Hello everybody, it's Fufu here, and today I'm doing a video about 3 cool things you can do with Primarina's Liquid Voice ability. This ability is newly released, it's really cool. What it does is it turns sound-based moves into water type, even if they weren't water type before, so that can have some pretty interesting typing changes going on there. But unfortunately it doesn't act like the E8 abilities, like Pixelate, Refrigerate and ones like that. Which turn normal type moves into a different type, but they also give a power boost. Liquid Voice does not give a power boost, so it's not going to be super useful like those ones, but it still has some uses. The most obvious one is Hyper Voice for Primarina. It gives it a way of hitting 2 opponents in a double battle without hitting your ally with Surf, because it gets Surf already, but that also hits your ally. So Hyper Voice is able to be used in doubles battles. But that's not what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to be talking about the more interesting things. So let's get right into it. First off, we are going to be looking at Perish Song. So how this works is Primarina learns Perish Song by level up, and obviously it's normally a normal type move, and it doesn't have much else going for it, but that Liquid Voice ability can turn it into a water type move. Now how does that have any effect at all? It's like a status move, isn't it? It doesn't do any damage, so we're not going to be seeing any change in that respect. But what you can do in doubles battles is, as you can see here, I've got my Primarina paired up with a Cradily. What Cradily has is the Storm Drain ability, which allows it to absorb water type moves without taking on their effects. So normally that means it avoids damage and it gets a special attack boost, but in this case it avoids getting the Perish Song countdown while getting a special attack boost. So that's pretty cool. You can also pair Primarina up with another water type with Water Absorb, for example, or a Dry Skin user. I chose Cradily here because it's very bulky, so it can take some hits, as well as going for the block, so it can act as your Perish Trapper, which I thought was a really cool tactic. Now this might not be the most viable Perish Trap tactic out there, but what is really cool is if Primarina and your Water Absorber or Storm Drainer or Dry Skin user are your last 2 Pokemon, you can get that Perish Song countdown on all of the Pokemon, and you will win because Cradily isn't affected. It doesn't matter about speed tiers or not, Cradily doesn't get that countdown, so that's really great. And as I say, Cradily is super bulky. But yeah, it could be any other Pokemon that's immune to water type moves. You can pair up with this. I think Water Absorbers might be quite good because then Primarina could go for another Perish Song just to heal them up rather than doing any damage or anything. You can actually heal your partner Pokemon, which is more important for Perish Trap kind of shenanigans where you just need your Pokemon to live rather than giving special attack boosts. So I thought this would just be a really cool strategy to show off, and I'd be really interested if any of you guys have seen it used or have tried it out at all. And what's also really cool is Primarina is a decent Perish Trapper in that it can be quite bulky. It's got nice typing. Water typing is good defensively. Fairy typing is good defensively. So it's quite good defensive typing. And also it gets moves like Encore, which allow it to lock the opponent into a move. And that means if they go for a Protect or if they go for a Fake Out or something like this in a doubles battle, which you see quite commonly, you can Encore them into that, and that means that they won't be able to take your Pokemon down, and you will be able to get that Perish Trap countdown all the way down to 0. So just a really cool one to show. And another reason to use Cradily is it gets Recover, it's bulky and all that. So I thought these 2 would be a good pairing. You could try something like Vaporeon with a lot of the water types get Whirlpool, so instead of Block you could use Whirlpool, you could use Mean Look, you could use Infestation. Those are the kind of moves you want to be looking into to try to stop the opponent from being able to switch out. So once they can't switch out, they have to stay in, the Perish countdown will go down to 0, and then the Pokemon will faint. Obviously you would want to switch out your Primarina, which I didn't do in this demonstration, but you could just switch out your Primarina and preserve it for later for more Perish Trap shenanigans. But you can see here that it worked very well and everything fainted, and that's awesome. So we'll move on to the second cool thing you can do with Primarina's Liquid Voice, and this is going to be echoed voice. It had to be, didn't it? I love echoed voice. I've already done a video relatively recently about echoed voice, and I think I even spoke about it there. Liquid Voice is such a great move for echoed voice teams. Now, echoed voice is a normal type move. It's quite weak, but it gets more powerful the more you use it. As long as you use it every turn, it will boost in power. What's an issue for echoed voice teams is normally ghost types are a bit of an issue, but there are actually a number of echoed voice users that can have the scrappy ability, so that's fine, and ghost types you can kind of deal with. But what is still really an issue is steel types, because even with refrigerate or pixelate echoed voice, the steel types still resist. What we don't have until now is an echoed voice that is unresisted by steel types, but liquid voice obviously turns echoed voice into a water type move, and that means steel types just get destroyed. And what's cool about Primarina is it does have a really high special attack stat, so regardless, it's going to be a great echoed voice user. You probably will need to put on the Choice Scarf because it's not the fastest Pokemon out there, and you need fast Pokemon in order to maintain your echoed voice chain, because if your Pokemon get knocked out before they can use echoed voice on any turn, then your echoed voice chain will break. So if you put a Choice Scarf on Primarina, it won't be the fastest thing out there, but it will outspeed the majority of things, and you will be able to get some very powerful water type echoed voices out there. So I just did a bit of a demonstration with a steel type Silvally and Mawile, but my friend Weedle2Needle did a Wi-Fi battle using Liquid Voice Brionne in PU, which I thought was really cool, so definitely go and check that out. I'll link it in the description. But yeah, echoed voice teams have another great echoed voice user, and that's the thing I'm most excited about for Liquid Voice Primarina. Now, the last one that I wanted to talk to you guys about is the most gimmicky. This is kind of not really a competitive thing, it's just a cool thing that you can do with Primarina's Liquid Voice, and that is to skill swap it onto Kommo-o and go for a Clangorous Soul Blaze that can hit fairy types. So that's pretty cool. You can turn Clangorous Soul Blaze into a water type move. I've already done a video showing that Clangorous Soul Blaze, the Z move, Kommo-o's signature Z move, is a sound type move because a soundproof Pokemon was completely immune to it. And so we can see now that it actually is also affected by Liquid Voice and it turns into a water type move. That does mean Kommo-o loses Stab, so it's probably not the most useful thing, but it does mean that you can hit the fairy types. But I thought it was just it would be cool to show off because people were asking about this when I did my initial video. I'm gonna try and show it to you on YouTube, but if the Nintendo's like Content ID software capture it, I might not be able to show you the full animation, but I'll try. But anyway, you'll be able to see the hit connect, and you can see that it will affect a fairy type Pokemon, so that is pretty cool. And we don't have any other Z moves that are sound based moves. I think that Primarina's Z move, Oceanic Operata, that should be a sound based move. It's already a water type move, so it wouldn't be affected by Liquid Voice, but yeah, I think it should really be it should be a sound-based move, but it's not. But anyway, we've got Kommo-o going for the Clangorous Soul Blaze here, and it's able to get the boosts. Even if it was against two fairy types and they're both immune, you'd be able to get your boost because they're not immune to the water type moves. And then you also have the Clanging Scales, which Clangorous Soul Blaze is based off. That is now also a water type move. That hits both opponents in double battles, which is cool. So yeah, just another cool thing that Liquid Voice can do. I think it's a really interesting ability. I like these abilities that have strange mechanics. It doesn't really have too much competitive potential outside of the things that I've shown you here. Like Hyper Voice and doubles is one use for it, but I don't know how much we'll see that. We probably would see it. If you bring Primarina to a double battle, it could well be Choice Specs, because that's what it has over Tapu Fini, is that actually it's a bit more powerful. So maybe a Specs Hyper Voice you'd see. You saw the Clanging Scales, so that was pretty cool. And then Echoed Voice, I think, is the main one. Perish Song, you could do some gimmicky Perish Trap mechanics there. The Kommo-o thing was just because I like messing around with the mechanics more than anything. But I hope you thought that those were interesting. Hope you learned something. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Those were 3 cool things to do with Primarina's Liquid Voice. I've been foofootoo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.